the trainings are not even as sophisticated as some people think. Like, for example, the base that Qatar is going to build in Idaho. And then when you read the whole thing, it will tell you that it is just training some of their pilots in how to fly the F-15s and those kind of things. Qatari government pays for these things. So the pay aspect of it is there. It's not absent. Most of the 57 countries that are mostly Muslim populated countries are all on board. All of them are on board. They fit in that category as well, as far as the Arab leadership and the Muslim leadership is concerned. So it is very sad. Unless all of that would change, which would take a long time, and some of them, as you know, they don't have any popularity among their people. So I don't expect nothing peaceful coming from those guys at all. So that's why I didn't pay much attention to. We've seen it too many times. So let's just hope that something good comes out in the future. But repeating the same old thing and expecting a new result is insanity, as we hear.
Good brother by the name of Abukar Arman, a Somali political analyst, writer, and former special envoy to the United States.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salalo Makwidi. It's time for our hashtag Africa Focus feature. This part of the show where we look at some of the biggest, most pressing, important stories on the African continent. And this time around, we'll be heading over to the DRC, where Israeli President Herzog has embarked on a landmark tour of Africa, beginning with visits to the DRC and Zambia. His mission, well, to rebuild and expand Israeli ties on the continent. And this comes at a time when African nations are increasingly asserting their diplomatic independence. And we essentially have a country that is put in front of the world's top court for crimes against humanity, for a genocide. This is a outreach which is raising more questions than answers, more questions than congratulations. Everyone is asking themselves, why now? Why is Israel making a crusade, a ferry into the African continent? What's at stake? And for a lot of people, a lot of critics, this looks like a move to re-entrench influence, to exploit resources and to shift alliances rather than genuinely partnering for development. I think we can all see the reality. Israel is increasingly becoming isolated in Europe, in parts of South America, and they're looking for friends. They're looking for someone to play ball with them, and it looks like Africa is becoming the next frontier for them. And joining us today to unpack the implications and to interrogate the impact on Africa and on the DRC in particular is Shomari Mukandjwa, member of the Congolese Solidarity Campaign. And we'll be asking why is the DRC allowing this? Why are you allowing president of a country who's essentially, I think at this point we can all agree, is guilty of a genocide against the people of Gaza? Why are you opening up your doors for him, and why are you rolling out the red carpet and having conversations around your sovereignty, around your mineral wealth and the future of your country with that kind of a person? And I think, Brother Shomari, you can answer that question better. Why is the DRC allowing a man accused of a genocide, who's a leader of a country that's accused of genocide and all kinds of human rights transgressions, having doors of the DRC open and red carpets rolled out for him?
Yeah, thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much for that question. It's a very important question, and the answer is very clear, is that the Congo, the DRC of Tshisekedi, is desperate of ending the conflict in the eastern part of Congo. So they will go miles even to sign agreement with the Sultans for Congo to have a peace, so-called peace agreement with the Washington. Remember, Israel, during Mobutu cut the tie with Israel during the Arab-Israel war with Egypt. And Mobutu took a very stand to say, I will never go with a friend and forsaken my brother, referring that a friend was Israel. Remember, Congolese army during Mobutu used to take their military training in Israel. But Mobutu chose Israel, Egypt as a brother continent, a country, to Israel, which is a friend country. So, and they cut the diplomatic tie. It was only country in the African continent back then who declared the cutting of the ties between the two countries. He even expelled Israel's ambassador in Zaire back then. The question comes, why Tshisekedi has taken this stand? The answer is simple, that the Tshisekedi is very desperate for getting peace done in eastern part of Congo, so he can go as far as disregarding the massacre, the genocide that is happening in Gaza, and align himself with a country that has been
yes, continue. Brother Shomari, can you hear me? All right, we seem to have lost Shomari Mukandjwa, but essentially, there's been, as I mentioned, when we started this conversation, there's been almost a crusade by Israel. Their president Isaac Herzog has embarked on what is called the landmark tour of Africa, and he visited the DRC. I think there was a visit to Zambia, and his mission, well, it looks exactly like, I think, what Shomari is talking about there, to try and get some kind of influence on the African continent, to try and find new friends, because, as I mentioned, Israel is increasingly becoming isolated, and it's disappointing for me, especially from African leaders. We're a continent that knows what the yoke of colonialism looks and feels like. We've suffered the brunt of many genocides, of many settler colonial states throughout Africa history, making the lives of Africans impossible. We are where we are as the African continent because of those transgressions, similar to the ones that we're seeing currently play out in Palestine. And African leaders are essentially opening their doors to a colonizer, to a settler colonizer whose country is standing in front of the World Court for a genocide. Shomari, you're still unpacking, the brief history behind Israel and DRC relations, and where we currently find ourselves before we lost you. Please continue.
Yes, thank you very much. I was saying that Mobutu has took a stand to cut diplomatic ties with Israel. But we are regretting, as Congolese concerned member of our country, to see Tshisekedi going as far miles of renewing the relationship with Israel, allowing a genocidal country, government, coming into our country, where millions of people also has lost lives in Congo. We are claiming another genocide that has happening since 1996, allowing another country that is killing other members of society, of international community, the Gazan people, the people in the West Bank, a country like Congo, which also claims of losing almost 7 to 8 million to 10 million people through a genocide that is created by the very same country, Israel, supporting Rwanda, and of course, with the UK and the other member of the European Union. Today, Tshisekedi allowing Israel into Congo, putting a red carpet, it is an insult to millions of Congolese have lost their lives. It is because Tshisekedi never lost one member of their family. We, as the victim of people who have lost member of our family, we regret that Tshisekedi can allow a president of such country that has got the blood on their hand to allow them and put a red carpet to visit a country like Congo, which is also suffering another genocide.
And I want to expand a bit on that, because I think all too often we see these discrepancies where the state says one thing and acts a certain way, but the citizens of a country feel a certain way. Palestinian solidarity in the DRC and amongst Congolese people in the diaspora? Is it big? Is it recognized? Do they, shun their government for this visit and allowing it to happen? How are people on the ground receiving this?
People on the ground are receiving with too much regret. And the Congolese Solidarity Campaign and the other member of Congolese society are not too happy with what Tshisekedi has done. We understand Tshisekedi is doing this because of he wanted to lure the American support for them to abandon Rwanda, which has been their ally for years, since 1994 to date. So for him to do this gesture is to try to win back the Israeli support, because remember, Israel is an America, America is Europe. So he wants to win that support. And that's why he is extending the hand to a country that is committing crime against humanity, to genocide. Everyone knows that Israel is today, Benjamin Netanyahu cannot come to South Africa. He cannot even go now to New York with the new mayor, who has sworn that if he steps his foot there, he will make sure that he's arrested. A person who's wanted with the International Criminal Court for war crime, genocide against the Gazan people. I think it is a shame to Tshisekedi himself to go around and start claiming that the genocide of Congolese people. Because if indeed they acknowledge that the Congolese were massacred, they were killed in their numbers, he should not accept to renew a relationship with Israel, a country that is accused of killing millions of people, the same way that is accusing Paul Kagame today of killing the Congolese people, the same way that Israel is being accused of killing, and not accused of course. He has killed millions of Gazans, millions of Palestine, innocent children, innocent women, innocent men who never done anything. They're not Hamas, those people. So if Tshisekedi in this has got a mind, trying to win what we call a peace deal with America, and that is all that is doing. So Congolese Solidarity Campaign and the member of Congolese society across the world are not happy, and we will do showing our dissatisfaction with these things. Tshisekedi is not the owner of Congo. Congo belongs to Congolese. The sovereignty of the Congolese is in the hand of Congolese people. If it was that the people were consulted before, no one will agree that the relationship between Israel and the Congo should be renewed. No one will agree. But because he's doing that as a dictator, I'm not calling him as a dictator, but this form of actions is showing that indeed this person is very desperate, and he can go to as miles as Mobutu was as another dictator, because Congolese people are not happy. We, the people of eastern part of Congo, we are not happy. We are killed with the Israel army, guns, Israel bullets, Israel bombs that have killed our people. Today, he has shown putting a red carpet, allowing these people to come into our country. It's like he has allowed a person who's got the Congolese blood in their hand to work on us.
Very, very powerful statement there. And I think one other concerning aspect for me is the fact that we all know how rich the DRC is when it comes to critical minerals. Should we also take it from that aspect that Israel now wants a quote-unquote piece of the pie, the same way that the Americans have, the same way that the Chinese have, which ultimately led to this further exploitation of the Congolese people, and these wars that we continue to see, which are proxy wars amongst the Congolese people, so that the minerals can be exploited? Is that a factor to also account for?
Of course, Israel has been in the game of stealing the Congolese minerals since 1996. He has been there. So they just want to come legally now. They were passing through Rwanda. All those companies buying gold, diamond in Rwanda are all Israeli companies. You know Dan Clayton. Everyone knows him. Who is he? He's an Israeli citizen who bought a mine in Congo, in Katanga region, selling it to very expensive. Living Congolese is thinking that Congolese are not. So Israel has been there. So to go now to willing to get the mineral of Congo is just to try to legitimize it. And we as a Congolese, we are not satisfied with this. And our government has shown that it's not the government of the people. It is a government of an individual. Because if indeed the government was for the people, they should have done a consultation before they do this. In fact, He's coming to Congo, the president, Israel president, to come to Congo. It was a surprise visit. I don't know if it was a surprise. It was a plan that they did not want to announce it earlier, because they knew people, they will on the street voicing that they are not willing. And let me put this clear, my dear. Congo is divided into two groups. Congo people, the Congolese people in the east, they pay the brand of what is happening. We have lost a lot of people. The east and the people in the west, they don't care about are clapping in because of the coming of this criminal man of the country that is accused of genocide. They will clap hand because they are not happy. They think Israel is coming to help them. They forgotten that the Israeli guns, Israel bullet bombs are the one who are killing their brothers in the eastern part of Congo through Rwanda, of course, and M23. So they forget that because they don't know the history of whatever is happening there. They don't know the geopolitical what is playing in the eastern part of the Congo. We, the people of eastern part of the Congo, we are very angry with the coming of this man into our country. He just come and trample on our dead body. And the Tshisekedi, we will show him tomorrow after tomorrow, will be on the street.
Lastly, Brother Shomari, before I let you go, there seems to be a crusade from Israel. There seems to be a crusade into a new frontier, which is the African continent, because I think we can all agree they're becoming increasingly isolated. Their only friend in the world right now is the United States of America. And it looks like they are pressing on the weaknesses of African countries. They know that African countries are still in need of aid. They know that the future of the world, essentially, when you look at minerals, when you look at water, for instance, I mean, 40% of water sub-Saharan Africa is in Zambia, and he also visited Zambia. How should us as Africans try to fend off this kind of ferry, this kind of influence onto our continent by Israel because of the fact that they have become unpopular everywhere else, and Africa looks like the next big thing where they can try and have some kind of hold, some kind of influence because of the weaknesses and the kind of leaders that we have?
Yeah, the weaknesses are there, but let's go back a little bit, my brother. The problem also is coming from the region where Israel is located. If you look at the whole Middle East now, I don't want to use these terms, Middle East, because it's a colonial term that is used, it has no meaning. The whole region, Middle East region, most countries that are supposed to be the number one country to pose sanctions in Israel are all opening their doors, opening embassies in their countries. The UAE has done now recently. We never seen the Saudi Arabia closing its embassy in Israel to say we pull back because of our brothers who are suffering in Gaza. We never seen that. We see the continuation of the relationship, diplomatic relationship, as everything is normal, while millions of people in Gaza are dying, millions of people in the West Bank are dying. So if African countries also now, they learn from the Arab country, when the Arabs are not exercising to showing that indeed they are with their brothers Palestinians, the African, what can they do? African countries which are always hungry. Our president, our country, our continent is always begging. So they think to go to Israel, America will open the pocket, despite knowing that America is doing whatever they do on the interest of the American people and not on the interest of the African people. So the mineral resources which are there, they will not benefit me and you. They will benefit the very same people that are allowing this criminal coming into our continent. It is us, as Africans, we have to stand together to say, these people who are leading us now, they are doing things that are not supposed to be done. We are not agreeing with them. We don't agree with them. Unfortunately, we, the population who is supposed to stand hand in hand to defend the cause of the Palestinian people, of the Sudanese people, of the Congolese people, Yemen people, and others, we are all marginalized and manipulated. You can look at the South African context now. No African support who can support South African in the current situation that we see. South Africa has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice. Why other Africans are not following? It's because the situation that we see with the Dudula, with the PA, with the MK, with the other party, with the other parties that are all xenophobic against African people. So if it was like we are all together, this thing of genocide, I mean, xenophobia are not happening here. I don't think if as African will not follow what South Africa has taken as a step to take Israel to International Court of Justice. So it's a small thing, but it plays a very great role when people are being victimized in South Africa. Now we will see many other African countries, they will allow them to come. For example, if they kill African people in South Africa, why should I bother myself to say I will support South Africa when I know myself, my citizens are being marginalized in South Africa? So if we don't look into that, we will think it's a small thing, but it plays a very critical role. For me to end, maybe say this, we as a Congolese Solidarity Campaign and a member of Congolese society, we are not happy with what Tshisekedi has taken as a decision to renew the relationship with Israel. We will do in our power. We are not in power, but as a community, as a civil movement, we are going to pressurize our government to know why they want to renew this relationship. And if they renew relationship with this country, we will have to ask them who killed our people in the eastern part of Congo, which guns killed our people in the eastern part of Congo. Tshisekedi must provide that with that answer.
There you go. Shomari Mukandjwa, spokesperson of Congolese Solidarity Campaign. Always a pleasure having you on air. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very, very much.
There you go. Going to take a quick break. News and Views continues after this.